All right, well, welcome. We are back with another creator hangout. And honestly, I'm excited for this because these used to have like a trend, or not necessarily a trend, like a set topic, but we, myself and other creators, when we were talking about this, we kind of just enjoyed the chill and chat. So, with all that being said, I just want to give a big welcome to those who are watching. I'm excited to have you here. If you're new to the channel, my name is Anthony, and I am the owner of this channel. I started this channel back in August of 2020, and honestly, it's just been a great journey since then. And I cannot wait to really just dive in tonight and just talk about things pertaining to YouTube, to content creation. Here in the next while, we'll have some other creators coming up on stage. That's a Clubhouse term. If you're not familiar with Clubhouse, Clubhouse is like an audio kind of chat where you can go into rooms with the different creators, whether it be people like Viper, he's the man about tech, and then there's people like Roberto Blake. There's Emily D. Baker, who has been just killing it right now with her YouTube live streams. She's just been going nonstop. She's been getting at least 10,000 subscribers a day with this Johnny Depp trial, because if you didn't know, Emily Baker is actually an attorney. She knows her way around that kind of stuff, and she live streams with you, and she'll break down what things are going on, what things they shouldn't do. But yeah, she's just killing it. And so Clubhouse is a way that you can connect with them as a potentially new creator or as a returning creator. And it's so cool because I've come to know and get to know not thousands, plenty of creators, and that's really like where a lot of these people that are going to be coming up on stage, it's really where I met them, was Clubhouse. We had a great time. We always have a great time on Clubhouse, but we really just kind of connected. And that's the great thing about YouTube, about being in content creation in general, is that like you can really get to know other people. And we just got our first comment. Luis, how are you, man? Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad to have you here. I appreciate you coming by. So Luis is someone that I actually met through Clubhouse. I didn't really know many people before Clubhouse, and he's one of them that was on there. And so thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate you. But yeah, Clubhouse, if you're considering jumping on the creator economy train, which I would highly recommend that you do, because right now is the best time to be a content creator. There's so many different perks on different platforms, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat. There's so much out there. Really, you're I can't even think of the word all of a sudden. It's a limitless possibility. If I can talk, that's if I can talk. Your possibilities are limitless, and it's really just going to be one of those things that it's just going to continue to grow. And so if you're interested in becoming a content creator in general, jump on Clubhouse. A lot of us that you're going to be seeing on stage tonight, we are all in Clubhouse. We're in there at least several times a week, whether it be in the evening or in the mornings, just giving tips, advice, and just talking about everything to do with content creation, or just talk about random stuff that's happening out in the world. But that's really where I got to know a lot of other fellow content creators, and it was really just fun. So again, if you're new to the channel, my name is Anthony Locke. I am the owner of this channel. I started this back in 2020. I launched my first video actually in September 2020. So I was a quarantine creator. That's when I started my channel. And I got to talking about that one time in a Clubhouse room, and also with a family member. And I said, if I had just decided to start a YouTube channel when I first thought of it back in 2016, I would have already been so far along. And I just felt like at the time, my life wasn't very interesting. I was working at a grocery store. I just felt like, people really wouldn't be interested. But then the family member I was talking with, they said, well, you could have easily made that interesting. And they're right. I could have made it. And so if you are thinking of starting a YouTube channel, a TikTok, Instagram, whatever the case may be with content creation, stop thinking and just do it. Sean Cannell, he has this infamous phrase that says, punch fear in the face and hit record. And so that's what I would say to you as a content creator or as a potential content creator is punch fear in the face, hit record, and who knows what's going to happen. But at the same time, you have to let it build. You have to let it grow. And you have to really just be enthusiastic about it. You have to be consistent. 2021, I wasn't the most consistent with my YouTube content, and that was no one's fault but mine. And people probably thought, well, he's kind of given up on this, but I didn't. I just had a lot that went on, and so sorry, I had something caught my lip. But yeah, I really just I cannot emphasize that enough, because if you are really interested in this, if you're interested in starting a business, even if it's a side hustle, do it. I can't emphasize that enough. Like, this is such an amazing way to start a business, even if it's a side hustle. On Twitter, I've put out a few tweets saying, like, going forward, I feel like you're not going to be able to survive. People won't be able to survive without having some kind of side business or side hustle. And, we all are aware of what's going on in the world, inflation, gas prices are up the wazoo. I think right now, current gas prices, the lowest or cheapest gas prices we have here in Utah right now is Walmart is currently $4.39. Now, I remember back in high school when it was like $2 or more, maybe $2.50 a gallon, and people were complaining about that. And I think in my mind, like, I would love to go back to $2.50 a gallon, but I also think about the fact that the cost of living in general, food has just gone up. For currently here in Utah, a gallon of milk costs individual $3.59, as compared to this time last year when it was $2.89, and everyone thought that was outrageously high. So my point of this would be, going forward, if you have any kind of like an idea to start some kind of like a side hustle, even if it's like mowing lawns or doing like yard care for people, do it. It's an extra like $200 or $300. Like, who wouldn't want that? Like, I personally would love to have an extra $200 or $300 in my account every week. So, and then got one of my mods in the house. His name is Ryan. So he says, I saw $4.78 per gallon for fuel here in Washington yesterday. And yeah, it's unreal. Ryan, you and I have known each other for a long time. Ryan and I, we became friends at a kind of like a Halloween party. He was there recording some stuff, just kind of getting his name out there. And so yeah, that's how he and I met. But he now has since moved back to Washington State, where his family lives. And so Ryan, that's really shocking and appalling. I have a brother that lives in the Portland area, and he said it's really expensive for gas out there as well. And I'm doing fantastic, man. Like, I was finally able to figure out my Go Wireless 2 mics. That's why my audio sounds fantastic. And I'm going to be doing a lot of videos, like after this live stream and after I have dinner later on, I'm going to be recording a video with photography, where I react to photography fails. So if you're watching this, even on the replay, watch for that video later on this week, because it's going to be amazing. But then Luis says, I agree that video is a medium that is taking off. And it really is. Last summer, great example. Last summer, I was sitting in a parking lot of this craft store while one of my family members went into this craft store, and I was just sitting there watching these 3 young adults who probably were all like between the ages of 16 and 18, and they were recording TikToks in the parking lot in Layton, and it was amazing to see. Like, I just thought in my mind, like, the creator economy, the creator economy, I can't even talk all of a sudden, is real. The creator economy is so real, and I love the fact that so many are finally opening their eyes. It's kind of like the floodgates are opening to this whole new way and concept to really generate some revenue, generate some income, and just be able to get your name out there. Being a part of Clubhouse, we talk about so many different things, especially about YouTube, about being consistent. For the first time of like 3 weeks ago, I actually had my channel audited by one of my good friends, Professor Nez. He's actually one of my mods, but he might stop in later on in the chat. But it was a tough love kind of scenario, but he did it all out of love. Like he's like, I want you to succeed, and so this is what I feel like you need to change. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. Like, I love these Go Wireless mics. These things are amazing, and I was getting so frustrated with my audio. And then, so if people haven't heard, I actually won these Go Wireless 2 mics from Think Media. I'm a part of their Video Ranking Academy, and I was being very active in the chat. And so I won these GVM mics. You can't see them, they're out of the screen, but there's one right here and there's one right here. And so Heather Torres, one of the main people over Think Media, she's like, Tony, we're going to have a contest, and I've already have my person selected, and that's Tony. And then we had this kind of like a private Zoom meeting for creators inside Video Ranking Academy, and they gave me the Rode Wireless 2 Go mics. And honestly, like, these things are amazing. Like, I'll put it this way, if you are in the market to have some great audio, get the Rode Wireless Go 2 mics. You can probably find them on a Facebook Marketplace, but if you can't, go on Amazon. I would put an Amazon affiliate link, but I'm not an affiliate with Amazon right now. And we're going to talk more about affiliates probably later on. But yeah, really, this is just, I love this mic. I recorded a family member for their channel just a little while ago, and it sounded amazing and crisp. It was just perfect. But Clymere, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate this. I'm really excited to have so many people here. This is fun. And so really, the creator economy, I was in the scene. I'm going to carbon date myself here a little bit, so bear with me. I was a senior in high school in 2006. And at that time, there were music videos out there. There was so many different websites you could find music videos on. And YouTube may have even existed back then, but at that point, it wasn't really profitable or like a potential way of earning a living. And I remember in 2009, I was on YouTube. I was just and I had come across this video called "John Williams is the Man" by this guy named Corey Vidal. And I was so entertained by this video. I just thought this video was amazing. And then I come to find out he was actually a partner with YouTube, and that he was working from home. And I remember thinking in my mind, like, oh, well, I think that'd be cool to work from home, not have to go to work at a grocery store. And that was the end of that thought for like the longest time. And then 2016 rolled around, and the thought again to start a YouTube channel came into my mind. And actually, Ryan, this guy right here, he was the one that I first approached about starting a YouTube channel, because I knew that he had a YouTube channel, and he's like, you got to stay consistent. You got to make sure your stuff's interesting. And like I said at the very beginning, like, I didn't feel like my life was very interesting, because all I was doing was working at a grocery store. And again, I probably could have made the videos interesting, because I have so many horror stories of crazy customers, crazy Karens and all that kind of stuff. I could have easily just made that so entertaining, but I didn't. I put it on the back burner. But then, you fast forward 4 years later, COVID had hit. My photography business was placed on hold, and I couldn't do anything. I felt like my talents were going to waste, and I was getting so frustrated. And so I thought, shoot, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. This sounds fun. And so here we are. And so Louis says, I love my Rode Wireless Go 2. I use them for live streams. Also, I use the Dead Cat for the personal. I assume that he means personal, like pre-records. Come on, Ryan, you gotta be consistent. You're telling me that I had to be consistent. I'm more consistent now than I was this time last year. So, Ryan, this is your challenge, especially as one of my mods. I expect you to be one of the more proactive and more consistent content creators on the platform. Especially, man, you live in Washington State. Like, everything's green out there. You have so much scenery out there. Like I'm gonna give you a time limit here. I hope you're listening. There will always be. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. You have 2 weeks to record a new video, and I want to see. You're saying it's explore my city. I want to see the city of where you live. One of the popular trends right now on YouTube is actually doing a live stream where you're just walking around. Now, and I don't expect you to just be walking around for like 2 hours in Washington State, because it gets kind of tiresome. But I expect a video. You were just saying that I have quite a few video ideas. Just do it. Just do batch record, and soloists, wowzers. And then they also say, will there ever be open panels? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but Ryan, I'm expecting a video, at least one video in the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to be messaging you on Facebook and on any kind of social media platform and just saying like, dude, how's the video coming? Like, I'm going to be on your case. Like, I'm going to be like that nervous little, like that itchy feeling that just never goes away. That's going to be me. So, but yeah, content creation, as Ryan, as Luis, as Clamir, and as others that you'll come to hear in this creator hangout will tell you, it's not the most easy. And I remember when I first started, like I was trying to be a perfectionist. Like if I had like one little slip up, and if I was like halfway through, I was like, no, I have to record this whole thing over. And I would record the whole thing over. And it would usually end up taking me like between 4 to 6 hours just to record one video, because I was trying to be such a perfectionist. I was trying to be a little nitpicker. And I'm here to tell you that you just can't be a perfectionist. Perfection comes over time, especially as a content creator. And really, I can't emphasize that enough. But take it from my personal experience. Spending 6 hours recording one video, that's not a good idea. And it was just like on basic videos, like on how to make a preset in Lightroom, or how to edit something in Lightroom, or whatever the case may be. Like I was being such a little nitpicker and trying to be such a little perfectionist that it cost me time that I won't ever get back. And I really cannot stress that enough, because I now I'm to the point where like I feel comfortable on screen, even though I do kind of forget my train of thoughts from time to time. It just kind of happens. Everyone who is a content creator, they can all vouch for that. We all have our little moments of what? But it really just comes down to being able to have fun with your content. And when you mess up and if you laugh, like you'll be more relatable to your viewers, to your subscribers, to your community. And so they'll be more apt to come back and watch more of your content, because they'll say like, okay, well, yeah, he messed up, but it was really funny. He laughed at it, and so did I. And so I want to come back because he's really entertaining. Incredible cast. Thanks for stopping by. If you want to come up, you were talking the other day about Streamyard, that you weren't sure how to use Streamyard. Now's going to be your perfect time and chance to come on, and you can get some experience with Streamyard, because this is what I use. I use Streamyard for all of my live streams. I'm going to be using it for a pre-recorded video later on this evening. And to top it off, I just became an affiliate for Streamyard. I applied this past week, and it took them less than 24 hours, and they responded saying like, welcome to the affiliate program. We're excited to have you. Here's your link. So if you are considering doing live streaming, let's say if you're not really into the whole pre-recorded kind of content, which I know there are content creators out there that are like that. One of my good friends, Lito, he is more on the live streamer kind of side of content creation. There in the description of this live stream, there is an affiliate link that if you click on it and if you sign up, yeah, I will get a commission off of it, but it will also give you a chance to really experience what it is to be a live streamer. And really, I have talked with several people about live streaming, one of those being Professor Nez. If you don't know who he is, I mentioned him earlier. He's one of my mods. but he has said that he's used other live streaming kind of properties or whatever. I can't even think of the word right now. I'm having a brain fart. But he really stands by Streamyard, and I understand that, and I get that, and that's why I stand by Streamyard, because it's so user friendly. You can do things with regards to raffles and so much others. But Annette, thanks for stopping by. Annette, this is a Creator Hangout. You know, I'm expecting you to come up if you have the time. I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. If you have the time, I'm expecting you to come up. And Annette is actually going to be coming out with some great content here soon. She is actually a real estate agent down in the Orlando, Florida area. She's killing it down there. She's absolutely killing it down there. She's very much into the whole real estate market and niche. It's amazing. She did her first Instagram live last week, and I popped in for a few minutes, and then I actually had to go do something else. But I'm expecting you to either be in the chat, Annette, or come up on stage. And so Ryan just responded, said, one of my goals right now is to finish a film script I've been working on for over a year on and off. I have 48 pages done for it, aiming for about 80 to 90 pages. And Ryan, that's great. But in the meantime, man, just even if you have time, like, try to do some YouTube shorts, or do that short form content, whether it be on YouTube, on TikTok. You were really active on TikTok there for a little while, and then you just kind of dropped off. I'm the same way. I was trying to just focus most solely on YouTube, but I'm starting to kind of branch out a little bit more again and start getting into that kind of stuff. The whole, posting on, repurposing content from YouTube to TikTok to Instagram and so much more. Of course, in that, like, you're killing it. Like, if I was to move down to the state of Florida, which I'm gonna be honest in that I don't have any interest in moving to Florida. Like, I'd be more than happy to come down and visit the state of Florida, but I don't really want to move down there. I've heard stories, and my mom actually lived in the Miami area for like 3 or 4 years, and she just said she just told me stories, and it's just not my cup of tea. But I do want to go to Orlando because I really want to go to Disney World. I'm going to throw this out there right now. I've never been to Disneyland, and I've never been to Disney World. So in the chat, I want people to tell me which one is better, Disneyland or Disney World. So really, I cannot stress that enough. But so Ryan, he said, then find the right people for the film and try to keep it a low budget. And that makes sense, Ryan. Like that, especially being a content creator, like you don't want to invest a lot of money into something and not have it take off. One of the common myths that a lot of new and upcoming content creators believe, and I bring this up mostly every creator hangout, is that they feel like you have to get the latest and greatest camera or the best audio. No, you don't. If you have a smartphone, hit record and just post it. If you don't know anything about editing, there's so many easy tutorials, so many user-friendly apps out there, like Camtasia, there's iMovie, there's so many, and Camtasia is if you want to get the pro version, you do have to pay like $23, but from what I understand, it's actually pretty user-friendly. But iMovie is actually free, so why not try using it? But let's go back to the chat here for a little bit. Ryan, he said, YouTube Shorts do well sometimes. They do well sometimes, but Ryan, there's something about YouTube Shorts, and that is that sometimes they can go on the YouTube Short shelf, but then they can somehow be called back onto it, and they can take off again. And so YouTube Shorts are amazing. My mom is a great example of this. She has a YouTube channel, and it's called A&L Forever Plants, and she posted a YouTube short, and it was just talking about planting microgreens, and it was like literally 60 seconds. Overnight, she had over 1.5K views on that little short and picked up 4 subscriptions, four subscribers, I mean, from that little YouTube short. So really, like, there's some perks to YouTube Shorts. And actually, I just heard last week that they're considering adding YouTube Shorts to the monetization process. So that's an even, if that does happen, that's an even more incentive for people to do YouTube Shorts. I'm actually in the process of figuring out this little SquareFit app, so I can post some excerpts from these live streams to my YouTube Shorts. Elvira, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you so much. And then Louis says, time management is very important to be successful. Yeah, it really is. You got to kind of plan out your day. Here in the next little while, I'll probably show you how I actually mapped out all my time when I'm not working. I'll just kind of show you like what my calendar looks like on my computer. And these are reminders I have like every day. So, and then Incredible Cast says, Disney World, Florida girl in the building. I knew that you and Annette would probably be siding with the Disney World. But I hear Disney World is amazing. I have an older brother that lives in Texas, and he and his wife and their kids have been there for they've been there quite a bit, and I'm super jealous. And I hear that the Star Wars part of it is so much better in Disney World than it is in Disneyland. But I still want to go to both. One of my biggest dreams has been to be able to build a lightsaber. I'm a nerd. I'm a complete nerd. Like, I'm just throwing this out there. Like, I'm a nerd. I want to build my own lightsaber, and I want to build my own robot. Like, I know that they cost more, and hopefully by that time when I do go, I'll be earning a little bit more money. But yeah, I'm a nerd. I want to go to those so badly. So now it's just saying hi, and then yeah, man, of course, Elvira. We appreciate you. We appreciate your input. So. And then Annette says, I have never been to Disneyland, would love to one day. And, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, Annette. Seeing as how I'm on the West Coast, like I'm here in Utah, I'm probably going to go to Disneyland before I go to Disney World. Because I can drive to Disneyland if I want to, but to drive to Disney World from where I am, you're looking at quite a bit of time in the car. And, oh my goodness, I've driven to Oklahoma and back, and it was so tedious, so painful, especially when we got to Albuquerque, New Mexico. The roads were so bumpy and just unsettling. Oh my goodness. And it was hot. So I'm not like, I love to drive, I love to go on road trips, but Florida is like, I have a friend that actually lives here in Utah. She married one of these guys I went to junior high with, but she's from Florida. And before she went on her LDS mission, she drove her car back to Florida so her little brother could have it. And it took her and a few other people that went with her, it took them like 3 or 4 days just to get down there. And by the end, they were just done. Like, they're like, we don't want to do this again. Like, they just were not happy about it. But it does make total sense. I'm not being biased. I heard great things about Disney World. I'm not disgracing it at all. So Incredible Cast, I'm not dogging on it at all. I just know that Disneyland is a lot closer than Disney World. So, but yeah. So what questions do you guys have when it comes to content creation? Like, I want to know, like, if you have any questions for me. I would love to be able to answer anything. So Ryan says, I haven't been to Disneyland. When I was in high school, a big group of students in the music classes went for a week, and I decided not to go for some reason, but they met Johnny Depp there. And so that's, Ryan, I actually had a similar experience. When I was a senior in high school, I was part of a show choir called Lyrics Show Choir. And so during spring break, we always had the chance to go out and, you know, perform at different schools in California. Well, at the time, I wasn't really working. I was an 18-year-old, but I wasn't working. And I couldn't come up with the $300 for the the ticket and everything. But they I really just needed to stay there and work on making up some credits I was missing. So oddly and coincidentally enough, like the teacher I had, he passed me that year, but with that class. But at the same time, 2 or 3 years later, he actually came up in the news here in Utah that he had married one of his former students. And that's a whole another topic for a whole another day. I don't want to get into that. If you guys are interested, you can go to my Twitter. I shared a post a couple weeks ago about it. But yeah, at least the little brother got the car. And it's true. Like, and I don't know that if they still have that car or not, but they said it was quite, she said it was quite the drive, and it was kind of a pain from what I understand. So yeah, what content creation questions do you guys have? Like, I would love to answer any questions, whether it be like how I got started or why I got started, whatever the case may be. Like, I would love to hear any kind of questions or anything you guys may have. So yeah, just let me know. This is great. I love this. So Incredible Cat says, living in Florida, I didn't even know Disneyland existed. I thought it was only Disney World until I became an adult and heard about other people heard other people talking about it. That makes sense. I remember hearing about Disney World as a kid, but I think I was more interested in going to Disneyland, to be honest with you, because like the commercials and everything, they just made it sound so fun and entertaining. Even when I got out of high school, when that song by One Republic, Good Life, when Disney was using that for their promos, it made it even look more interesting and fun. So yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from with that. But she also says, I would love to visit Disneyland. It's, from what I understand, like, it's really fun. They just got a new ride there a little while ago for Guardians of the Galaxy. They changed the Tower of Terror into Guardians of the Galaxy. So I really want to go on that as well. I'm really just going for Star Wars land. Like, I'm a nerd when it comes down to it. Like, I'm a super nerd when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, I was a nerd about Star Wars growing up, and that's just how I am. And along those same lines, I actually want to go to both the Universal Studios in California and the one in Florida, because I'm, again, a nerd when it comes to like Harry Potter. I am a big Harry Potter fan. So I hear that the one in California is great, but I hear the Harry Potter land in Florida is so much better. So eventually I will get around to traveling to all these areas and having fun. But I want to go back to the chat real quick. So Luis asks, what equipment do you use to film? Luis, right now, Luis, when I first started, I was using my T6, my Canon Rebel T6, but the problem was it didn't have a plug-in for a mic, and so my audio was really bad, and it was just really no está bien. I'm sure Annette knows exactly what I was saying right there when I say no está bien. It was no está bien. I was very malo. Very, very, very malo. And I wasn't pointed out to me until my oldest brother / mentor for photography is like, dude, you gotta improve your audio. And then Grow with Angie is in the house. So Angie, she normally comes up on stage with me, but she's kind of tired. She was doing a lot of volunteering yesterday. She actually said that she wouldn't be able to come in, but Angie, I appreciate you coming in. Get some rest. Being a content creator rest is an important part about being a content creator. So let's see here. Going back to the chat, she also says, I've been to Disney in Florida more times than I can count. She has family in Florida, and that makes sense. Angie, my oldest brother, who I was just talking about with the audio, he was saying that, he was actually born in Florida. So I'm the youngest of 5 boys, and out of all the kids, he was born in Florida, and I was born in Utah, but my other 3 brothers were all born in Oklahoma. So we're kind of like the oddballs out when it comes to, where we were born. So going back to so she's like, I want to see the Star Wars set. Yeah, join the club, Angie. Like, when they announced all that stuff, I was like, oh my gosh! Like, I started geeking out and nerding out. Like, if people would have seen me as a 12-year-old, like, I wore everything Star Wars. I had Star Wars Legos. I had everything Star Wars. Like, my books were all Star Wars. I was obsessed with Star Wars. So much so that I probably made me kind of weird and with regards to other class members. But so going back, so I understand that. But going back to the chat, Incredible Cast says, I have a question. My channel is doing good with shorts, but how do I introduce long form contents without losing the short form content subscribers? So Cast, if I remember correctly, yours is on anime. So I think this is a great way to kind of for you to transition into the whole live stream. Like I know you do like a faceless channel, and you know you were given some great advice on Clubhouse yesterday by that guy from LinkedIn. But doing like you can even do like a premiere, like where you maybe even how do I put this? Do something where you can interact with your subscribers, because being a content creator, that's one of the most vital parts about being a content creator is interacting with your subscribers, letting them know that you're not arrogant, that you don't think you're better than they are, and that you're really just like a down-to-earth person. And so, yeah, I got to find some kind of go-between between, you know, and maybe even, how do I put this? Because I don't really know too much about your niche. I know some stuff about anime, but it's kind of hard because I know you don't want to be on camera. You want to have a faceless kind of like live stream, and I get that. But with this kind of stuff, like I feel like if you were to really put this out there and really get and let people see who you are, it would help them to be more relatable to you. And I know that you want to have the faceless channel, and I get that, but when it comes to live streaming, that would be a great way for them to see like who you really are and like be able to ask you questions, and you can answer them online, and then really just do some deep diving into your niche about anime. Like I was very nervous when I first got on live streaming because I thought, oh man, this is like going out live. I'm very nervous. I will give you the same advice because you've been in that chat where my friend Lito's been in, and I'll give you the advice that he gave me. Don't focus on the number of people that are watching. Focus more on the content. Sorry, I had to think about that for a sec, but I want to get back to the chat real quick. Annette asked a question. Do you have the magnet on? Ordered mine from Road Go. Looking forward to getting it. How do you like it? Does the whole transmitter well? Okay, Annette, this thing is so powerful. So in my room, I will show you guys my room, but it's not the cleanest right now. I got to clean it tomorrow. But I have my TV and Xbox on a Lifetime, one of those white Lifetime tables. And you know, obviously it has metal in it, and it has this thick plastic. It's probably about like that thick in plastic. The magnet goes all the way through that to the metal, and like it just sticks. Like, and this thing is not coming off. Like until I pull it off, it will not come off. I love it. Like I was so excited when like I had been watching this thing. I've been keeping track of my order from the time I ordered it all the way to when it came yesterday. So I was very excited about that. So going back to the chat. So Incredible Cast says the butterbeer Universal Harry Potter tastes just like how it was the books describe. And I've had a homemade butterbeer, but I want to have authentic Harry Potter world butterbeer. Like, you know, I just hear it's just amazing, and yeah. It's understandable. Yeah, I know, Luis. You are Puerto Rican, so I was not trying to typecast anyone. Full disclosure, I was not trying to typecast anyone. I worked with a lot of Spanish people down at a greenhouse. We called them the amigos and the señoritas. And so we would always, so I picked up a few phrases down there, some not so nice, and some like that, like, you know, no está bien, and others like malo, americano, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I don't speak too much Spanish. Like when I was down there, I could speak enough so I could get my point across. So like when I was talking to them, but if I was to try to speak it outside of those greenhouses, I probably would get shot because I'd probably say something bad or offensive. So let's see here. Let's go. Fair enough, Annette. I that you're. Oh goodness. I have no response for that, Annette. Like, I wasn't really trying to typecast anyone. Like, I know that Luis is Puerto Rican, so and man, so Luis, I'm sorry if I offended you in any way, shape, or form. Like, I apologize. Like, wasn't trying to like make you mad or anything. I hope I didn't make you mad. So it's for your vlogging channel. Okay, so since this is for your vlogging channel, there's 2 YouTube channels I want you to check out. Well, actually, 4. So 2 of them. Avery Ford, he's on Clubhouse. Check out his vlogging channel that he does with his wife and their little boy. Check out the Elliot Family of 7, Mr. A Train, and then the 2 that you don't know of that I have referred Avery and A Train to would be Jared and Ellie Meekum, and I'll post them in the comments here in a sec, and then Yawi Vlogs, because these are both those channels. They're based here in Utah, but they do the vlog style type channels, and they do the long form, they do the short form. It just kind of depends on what they feel like doing. So those are the channels I want to check out. Yeah, I apologize, Luis. I was not trying to make you upset. Lalo, I would hope that you would come up and be a part of this if you would like. It's been fun so far. But so going back to the chat, she's like, but you're right, and I'm going to try that on my vlogging channel, going live, because I want that audience to know. I want my audience to get to know my face, and that's the important part about being a content creator. Is like, people want to be able to put a face with a name. It's just like, it's kind of, I'll use the comparison. I was like, when you're a new kid in like a classroom, people want to know your name, but they also want to know the face with the name. So, and then going back to the chat, Louis says, Annette, I love the Road Magnet. It's not a waste of money. It really isn't. And Annette, I actually got mine on sale. It was through sweetwater.com. It was normally $25. I got it for $19.99. So I was very happy with it. And then so kind of going back to, let's see here. Lalo's just like, hi people. And then so, let's see here. So can you, it's not Annette. Angie says, can you get a lavalier for the road? I don't want to wear that box, but I'm interested in it. Yes, you can. So that's probably the next purchase I'm going to be making, Angie, is that you can get a lavalier lapel with it, and you can really just go and answer people's. This is kind of weird, but it's better than having crap audio in my opinion. But before we get on the chat, I want to bring someone on stage. He's backstage, and I got to give a huge shout out to this guy. He just went full time last week on his YouTube channel. His name is Colin Michael. Colin, hey. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. How are you, man?
Good. Just kind of relaxing for this Sunday evening. Just got back from rummage sailing, so yeah, wanted to come chill and hang out.
Yeah. I finally got my Go wireless to work, and so that's why my audio sounds so much better this time around. Because, sorry, let me hide this. There it is. It's right there. Oh snap! Oh snap!
Just grabbed it from Amazon today, so now
yes,
I've got to try and figure out how it all works and everything like that.
Yeah. So you and I. So do you have any questions on that before we move on? Like, do you have any questions on the Go wireless?
All I've done is charge them. I've been wondering if I need to plug them into a computer to update them, though. If there's like special software updates or anything.
Occasionally, you will have to update it. I would highly recommend. Hang on, I'm going to shut this music. I'm going to turn this music down. It's kind of loud. There we go. Sorry about that. That music was kind of loud. So occasionally, you do want to plug it in and make sure there's no updates. But when it comes to like plugging it in, like you can, that's how you're going to charge them, is through that's how I charge them, is through the computer. But I'm using this actually for the first time on my MacBook. Like, I'll send you a tutorial that I watched of Rode's after the fact, on like how you can use it. Like, it just gives you step by step, like how to use your MacBook, and it's just amazing. And there is a cord you're gonna have to buy I hate to break it to you, but it's called the SC15, unless you already have it.
I think I do have it, actually. I don't know if it's in here. So I did get a Rode Micro, and for that or at least for this one up here, the Rode NTG, that one wouldn't work with iPhone unless you had the special cord. So I had to go out and I got the special cord for it. Is that the same for like plugging into the MacBook too?
So with the MacBook, the charger cord you got. So what year is your MacBook? Is it a newer one?
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah. So you'll want to get. You probably have an adapter, right? So you can plug in like your flash drives and such.
Yeah.
So what I did here, let's see if I can. So this is, you see that charging cord? That's your charging cord right there.
Yeah.
I plugged that into the adapter, and then I went into the audio settings. I went to input, and then I chose the Rode Wireless option, and then that's why you're able to hear this. And that's vital to the audio, is that you've got to plug it in like it. So when I was watching that video, like again, I will post that video. I'll show you. I'll send you that video later on. But the Rode Wireless lady, she was saying like how the computer will recognize it not only as a charger cord but also as like an audio cord. So that's how I used it, and I was grateful because I thought, I have the SC15. But I'm like, and then when she said it's the charging cord, I'm like, I got the charging cord, and so I was able to quickly understand how to use it, and here we are. So what other questions do you have about it, if any?
That's the main thing. And then I guess if you send me that Rode tutorial, they'll probably show me linking it up and everything like that.
Now, here's a question for you. Have you bought the Rode magnet yet to pin to your shirt?
I did not buy that yet.
Okay. If you go on sweetwater.com right now, they have it on sale. It's $5 cheaper.
Oh, on that website versus like Amazon or?
Yeah. So when I typed in the Rode magnet, it came up with that one, and then it said it was like $5 off right now. And the cool thing about Sweetwater is, listen to me, like I'm totally like hyping Sweetwater up. I should get like some kind of commission for this or something. But so after you order the product, like they'll call you and they'll say, hey, just want to go over this with you. Want to make sure this is what you ordered. And then like when they send it to you, they'll send you an email saying like it's been shipped. But then when I got this yesterday, they sent me some candy along with it. So your toddler will love you even more.
That's great.
Because you know that if you get the candy, your toddler's going to say, Daddy, I want that. Give it. So
nice. Hey, they could maybe pay you commissions in candy for everyone you point over.
Oh man, I used to be such a candy fiend in high school. You have no idea. You've heard me say before, but I had, when I was a sophomore in high school, I had between 5 and 16 Mountain Dews a day.
Oh wow.
24 ounces. Like it was bad. Like I was heavily addicted, and I'd have like Twix and Skittles on top of that. So my teeth were just getting destroyed my sophomore year of high school.
Dang.
So I want to go back to the chat real quick. Let's see here. Luis is like, dude, you're fine. Oh, no worries. I'm glad I didn't offend you, Luis. I don't want to offend anyone. I was going to feel bad if I offended you. And good old Lala likes to show off. But Lalo, I only speak like a few words in Spanish. And same with you, Elvira. Like I only speak a few words. Like I want to learn the full language of Spanish because I have friends, like I have good close friends who speak fluent Spanish. Like I have a friend who served a mission to Chile, Concepcion, Chile, and so he speaks the fast Spanish. And so I want to learn Spanish so I can just sit there and talk with him about people when we're out in public. So yeah. But see, look at this. I got them all started on this Spanish kick. Oh man, what did I do?
I've tried Duolingo way too many times trying to learn Spanish, not to like go for like a few weeks or a month or 2 months, and then I stop. And so that's been my journey with Spanish.
Yeah, my so I don't know if you heard a little while ago. I worked at a greenhouse, here in Utah, and everyone knows, and this is not typecasting or anything, a lot of the people that work there are actually Spanish people that work in greenhouses. Like, they're really good at what they do. Like, they're professionals in my eyes. They're skilled. And so I worked with, we call them the señoritas and the amigos. And so I had to learn a few Spanish terms and words to be able to communicate with them, like, you know, porque no está bien, and, you know, all and other things. Like, I picked up a few bad words, unfortunately, but at the same time, I knew, well, I didn't know all the way. Like, a little story, one of my friends who was working with me, he told me, he's like, dude, don't say that. He's like, that you just swore. I was like, just swore? He's like, yeah, that guy just swore at you and you swore back at him, so you probably shouldn't use that. I'm like, good to know. But yeah, I'm really bad with Spanish. So then Luis says, I also have the Rode lavalier mic. So Colin, this is something you're going to want to look into too, especially like as you go out in public and start recording for your content creation. You can find it's the Rode lavalier mic, and because Angie was saying earlier that she would like, actually, I'm going to hang on a sec. I'm just going to turn this music off. It's annoying. Let's see here. There we go. That's better. I like peace and quiet. But so Angie was saying earlier on that she didn't want to wear this little box, this big box kind of thing on her shirt, and I get that. And so you can go on there. You can find the. I would definitely highly recommend that. That's probably going to be the next purchase I make when it comes to content creation.
I ended up getting that Rode interview mic, where you just put the little lavalier square on top, and then there's like a wind thing that goes over, and then you can actually kind of go around and interview people while using the mic, which I thought was pretty cool. If I was ever like at a conference or something and I wanted to get like a few minutes with someone and get their like thoughts, I could easily take that out and make sure I have like really good audio. But I have used like plug-in, like wireless microphones like this in the past. And I think the biggest thing, which we'll see how these ones do, is if I have it clipped on to like my belt or something like that, I'll like turn or something and it won't be in direct view, and then it'll like start getting choppy as I'm communicating. From what I've seen from reviews, people can turn all the way around and kind of go behind objects, and that signal is still going through, but is hopefully the case.
Yes. So when I got my lavalier, when I first got, I was going to say lavalier mic. I don't have the lavalier yet. But when I got my Rode Go wireless mic, I watched a video tutorial, and the guy on the video, he said you can actually go 50 meters away from like your camera, and it'll still pick up the audio. You can, like, let's say like if you were like, you set up your camera and you walk to like 50 meters away, like at a park, it still pick it up. But the great thing about this is, number one, you're not confined to that shotgun mic. And no offense to anyone that uses shotgun mics, they're great. I still think they're great. But this just gives you that capability of being able to move around more, in my opinion.
That's what I'm hoping for.
So I want to go back to the chat because we have a lot of people commenting. So we actually just had someone new show up. Oliver Smith. Oliver, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate you. And he says he's new here. And so Lalo says it's worth it. It's worth Angie, and you'll be very happy. Angie, I can attest to that. Like, I just used it for the first time for a video recording for my mom's channel earlier, and the audio quality was. There's a term that Omar Al-Takori from Think Media always says, drippy crispy. He's like, you got to make your stuff look drippy crispy. Angie, this makes your audio drippy crispy. Like, I'm throwing that out there right now. Like, your audio just sounds amazing. And I've already had comments from people in the chat so far about this. But going back to the chat, Annette says, I meant about the Go Gang. My comment, Colin looking sharp, although he does look sharp. Yeah, Colin always looks sharp. He's wearing a hat backwards. Like, if I wear a hat backwards, I just look like I'm a poser. Like I'm throwing that out there. Like I look like I'm a poser. And so Colin, he knows how to pull the beard off. He knows how to put the hat on. The reason I don't have a beard is because when I have a beard, I look like I'm Tony Stark from Iron Man.
That'd be great.
So I might grow it back, but right now, I don't know. I've kind of gotten used to the clean shaven look again.
Beard gain. See, I have to have hair here because I'm no hair up here, so the hat hides my my hair. I could grow it out, but then I look like such a kid. So and then this is so low maintenance. Like I don't have to like put anything in my hair. I don't have to like gel it or make sure it looks good in the mirror. It's just like it's always going to be this. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to go to a barber. I just do it myself. That saves me money. And then I hide it all under here, so no one.
Well, see, I got the gray hair. I got the Reed Richards look right now from Fantastic Four, and so like I used to actually color my hair because I was ashamed of my gray hairs, and people were like, "No, like it makes you look so much more like developed, so much more wise." And I was like, "Okay, well," and then I've had people. I had someone say like, "People pay big money to have hair that looks like that." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I won't color it anymore," and so.
Before I did my wife, I had no gray hair in my beard or goatee or anything like that. And after a few years in, I started getting gray hairs. Just to let you know, if you get into relationships, it makes you go gray out of stress.
And I hope that your wife did not just hear that and that you don't have to sleep on the couch tonight.
No, she agrees. She's the one like, oh, I must have caused these gray hairs in your beard.
Well, so I've grown out my beard a few times. And when I remember a few years ago, I grew it out, and because I had like different colors. Like I had gray in my beard, I had blonde in my beard, I had red in my beard. It's like a whole color scheme of colors in my beard. And I was just like, my face hair can't make up its color, make up its mind about what color it wants to be. So maybe I'll grow it back.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say if I ever went clean shaven, I look like I'm 17. So, it also gives me a chin. If I was to get this off, there's like no chin here. It's all like beard. So,
yeah, I have a coworker at work who he just recently got married, and he said his wife said you're not allowed to shave because he'll look younger than her, and he's actually older than her. So she's like, you're not allowed to shave. So going back to the chat, Growth Auntie said Sweetwater's awesome. That's where my hubs. Buys all his music gear, and so, and then Annette's like, so cool to see my YouTube peeps on here. So yeah, and then Luis says, any questions about the Road Wireless Go? Ask me. I know others are also willing to help. And so Oliver, this is a weekly creator hangout. We talk everything content creation. This week is kind of sounding like it's just going to be Colin and I, but sometimes we have like 6 people up here on stage. That's a clubhouse term. That's the easiest way of putting it. But we just give advice on audio, on tech, and just really help people to be better content creators. So these are all things that we had to learn through trial and error. And I'm sure Colin can attest to that. Like my first YouTube video, the audio was crap. It was garbage. It was. I was so stiff. I looked like I was a zombie. But do you have any comments on that kind of stuff?
I think the first time I recorded was in the basement, and like the dryer was running in the background, so you could hear it in the audio the entire time. It was, yeah. So skip the pain of trying to figure it out on your own. We made the mistakes for years, so you don't have to. So it's a little shortcut. You can, ask questions on audio, video, and all that. And that way you don't have to go through the pain of looking back at the old audio videos and like, no, why didn't I get a good microphone?
Yeah, I've tried to go back and watch some of my first videos, and oh my gosh, like it's kind of like nails on a chalkboard bad. To me, it's that brutal because I'm just like, I was so stiff. I didn't know what I was doing. My audio sucked. I was so just, I felt like I was Frankenstein. So yeah, that was the purpose behind this. So so going back to the chat, let's see here. Yes, I could. That was true. I was Ryan. I was so heavily addicted that I would have one before first period, one after second period, two during lunch. I would take one with me to the seminary class I was taking, and then I take one home with me. Like I was getting so much Mountain Dew a day, it was appalling. Like, and when I've told this to my mom and to others, they're like, "We're surprised you don't have any other health problems. Like, we're surprised you still have teeth, like because those things are jam packed full of sugar." And then Lao's like, "And that I'm dead." Let's see here. Sorry, there's so many people commenting. I could be your translator for most words. My dad is from Mexico. Awesome. Like that's really cool. Like Oliver, post in the comments. I want to know what part of Mexico your dad's from. That'd be really cool to find out. So Elvira, what I mean by fast Spanish is like, obviously Elvira's, she comes from a Spanish background, but and Elvira, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that Chileans speak such fast Spanish that that sometimes even people from other Spanish countries have a hard time keeping up with them because they speak such fast Spanish. Like this friend of mine that went to Concepcion, Chile, he would just tell me like, oh my gosh, like when he first got down there, he was just like so lost because they only teach you so much Spanish in the training center they went to first. And so, yeah, that's what I meant by fast Spanish. And so, yeah, they speak.
He commented more recently. He's from, I'm going to kill this. He's from Mazatlan, Sinaloa.
Okay.
That is my best attempts there. I know probably. My wife is Latino, and everything I mispronounce, and she always has to correct me. So I'm sure I got it wrong. But
yeah, it's kind of funny when you go around people who either know how to speak Spanish or who are from Spanish countries. So like they're like, no, you just mispronounced that entire thing. Like just stop. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like I used to say no bueno, and I actually had a friend who's like, no bueno's bad Spanish. He's like, say no está bien. I was like, okay.
Sometimes I'm mean to my wife, and I'll be like, yeah, the tortillas and the salsa. She's like, because I'll say the white versions of the Spanish words.
So I have another friend that because he served a service mission as well, speaking Spanish in Arcadia, California. And so we have a Spanish restaurant here in Utah called Rancheritos. And it's just like, it's completely owned and operated by people from the Spanish descent. And so he speaks like fluent Spanish. And so he pulled up to the drive-thru one day. He's like, yeah, hola, como esta? I want that tortilla. He tried to say it the most redneck white way he could. And obviously him knowing Spanish, like he could just hear them like making fun of his like way he pronounced things. So he pulls up to the drive-thru window and speaks, and they're just like laughing. He speaks fluent Spanish with them. And they're just like will not even like look at him. She just hands him his food, his change, and just closes the door. And he was like, it was the best. Like he told me, like, dude, it was like the best. It was like my mom was in the car with me at the time. We both were just having a heyday with this, but oh man. That's great. So Angie says, lame excuse, but I have to go out. I have to go out chicken beds. The new teenagers went outside last night. They don't know what to do, and the sun goes down. Have fun, everyone. Catch you all later. Thanks, Angie, for coming on the stream. We appreciate you. Hopefully next week you'll be able to come up on the stage with us. And then let's see here. Oh, actually, I want to show this one first. And that says, bet you know all the bad words, Colin.
Maybe. I won't say any of them on here. We're not going to. Yeah, I won't say anything.
Yeah, no, trust me. So my brother, he lived in California for a little while, and he picked up a lot of the Spanish swear words. He taught me a few, and he's like, just don't say them out. And he's like, don't say them in school. It's like I was a junior in high school. He's like, don't say them in school. He's like, you'll get in trouble. Like you'll get in so much trouble. But yeah, it was such a it was an eye-opening experience, like working with Spanish people because excuse me. Oh man. So here's a funny story for you, real quick. When I was working, it was so the greenhouses I worked at were called J&J Nursery Garden Center, and so we had two people that worked there. One was an American Sylvia, and the other one was a Spanish Sylvia. So we had the Americano Sylvia and the Spanish Sylvia, and so my buddy that told me like not to swear, not to use those swear words, he told me about how this day off I had, this person came up. He was like, oh, where's Sylvia? I know her husband. And he thought she was referring to the Spanish Sylvia. And he's like, she's married? And so like, it was the running joke that we would always say to the Spanish Sylvia, like, ¿Dónde está el esposo Hector? And she's like, no, Hector. Like, she'd get so mad. Like, she'd say, no, Hector, no. Like, she'd get so mad. And so it was just the funniest thing. Like, and so when it came down to it, the Spanish people I worked with, they were the funniest people I have ever worked with. Like, you turn on any kind of American like rock music, they're like, this stuff makes me sleepy. Like they're like this makes me want to go sleep and take a nap. And so I say like, Inglés, música, por favor, and they're like, no, Japanese, because they can't pronounce their J's. But yeah. So Oliver says people pronounce. I'm gonna butcher that. Like Melzan and Sano, like Sanua. I think you might be muted. Sanoa. And then he also says, you're from Utah. I really want to move to Utah and leave LA. I hear that a lot, Oliver. I hear a lot of people are not happy with LA. I've heard so many stories about that. But yeah, Utah's great. My family loves Utah.
Mountains.
Yeah, we have the mountains, and the coolest part, like, not to like really boast so much about Utah, but like we have Arches National Park down in southern Utah. We have Zion's National Park, which has the Narrows. Like, I don't know, Colin, if you've ever been to Utah. So Zion's National Park has the Narrows, and you can get water that's like up to here on me. And people come from like all over the world just to hike through. Like, if you do a Google search for the Narrows, like, this thing is so cool. Like, you're just walking through water the entire time. When I went through the Narrows, I obviously got all the way up here to me, and then I dried all the way off, and I got almost out of the Narrows, and I slipped and got completely doused in water again. And I was like, no, I just got dry. And every other YSA, every young single adult that was with me just started busting up laughing because I was saying like how I was so excited because I was just basically dry, and then all of a sudden I just slip and get wet again. But yeah, but it's a great state, Oliver. I would recommend moving here. And then Colin, this comment is for you.
Colin should grab his YouTube plaque and do a quick live pose. Okay. That's all popping up a few more times before, but I'll go grab it here.
Look at him boasting those
old YouTube plaque.
Yeah.
Try not to get it all. There we go.
He just likes to rub it in. I still laugh about what happened at that clubhouse room on Thursday night when we all changed our profile to kind of mimic Angie's, and it was kind of hard for people to like distinguish like who was talking.
Pillows everywhere.
But Lala's just like, yeah, he's agreeing with her, and then she just starts laughing.
Let's see, Anthony in the play button.
Oh my goodness, I'm hideous. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. So Oliver said, talked with a friend that lived there for 5 years, and he said many people leave Utah because he said it was calm for him, mainly because there isn't Disneyland and many amusement parks. We do have So Oliver, we do have a couple amusement parks. We have Lagoon, which is actually really fun. It's kind of expensive. It's like the cost of Disneyland here in Utah. Like it's really expensive to get a day pass, but it has a whole lot of water. It has like a water park, has a whole lot of roller coasters. But yeah, it's a fun park. And then we also have one down in the Utah County. So Utah County is like the county just underneath Salt Lake County, and it's kind of like it reminds you of like a Lord of the Rings kind of like a amusement park. Like they have like all old like rustic. Like I actually haven't ever been there. I think it's called like Never. I can't even remember the name of it. I'm so ashamed because like my nephew has worked down there a few times, but it's amazing. We have some great fun things here, but the great thing about Utah is that we have the greatest snow on earth, and I'm sure that Colin would object to that because of where he lives, but I'm just saying we have the greatest snow on earth.
Nah. Good old Wisconsin, we get the best snows. Good, Angie, if she was here, she'd agree with me about the Midwest and our snows. And then Wisconsin, well, you have the mountains, but other than the giant mountains, it seems like Utah's pretty flat, where Wisconsin's just hilly all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, we're not as flat as like, where Lalo is in Texas. You go to Texas and it's like you can just see for miles, but and plus they have chiggers down there. But we do have some flat areas. We have the salt flats. A lot of like big professional drivers actually come out to the salt flats, and they'll with the agreement that they won't destroy or vandalize the area, they can like drive on the salt flats and like have races on them. But that's great. But kind of going back to the chat, Lala's like Friday it was epic. And then of course you were sitting there laughing about you kissing your plaque, and he kissed his plaque and I loved it. That's what Annette said. And then Oliver has this question for you.
How do you get the verified gray around your name? Once you pass, well, there's two ways. First way is once you pass 100,000 subscribers, you can apply for verification, apply for like the verified check mark, and then you can have it enabled. However, there are other creators who've gotten it under 100K, depending who they are and their, I don't know what you would say, like their level. The way someone put it was celebrity status, but that's not the case. I know Andrew Can of the TubeBuddy team has the verified check mark, and I think he only has he's under 50,000 subscribers for sure. And he has the check mark. So I think it's because he's part of the TubeBuddy team, and TubeBuddy's over 100,000 that he also gets the verified check mark. So either be on a team of someone who's over 100,000 or probably reach that mark.
Yeah, so I mean, Oliver, it is possible. I mean, Colin, how long have you been on the YouTube platform, Colin?
Since 2014.
Okay, so I mean, it does take a little while, but like if you just grind and you put out some amazing content, anyone can reach that goal, that gray play button mark or whatever. And so this is the park that I was referring to, Evermore Park. This thing is actually really cool. It reminds me of something out of Lord of the Rings. It's down in Provo, Utah. So if anyone's ever in Utah, go check out Evermore Park. It's really cool. And then so Oliver has another question, said, how could I put a logo without my face on for YouTube, just for chats? So you want to answer this?
Yeah, I think probably the easiest route would just be to make something in Canva. In there you can Canva's free. They also have a premium version, but it is free. I'm sure Anthony's got his affiliate link somewhere.
I do.
So probably in the description, or he can post it somewhere. But once you do get Canva, there's you can search logo, and it'll give you a whole bunch of different options you can choose from for your logo. You can customize it from there once you have like a template to choose from. And then from your phone, if you click on your channel name, there should be a spot where you can upload that and make it your profile picture. But I think that'd probably be an easy way to just make a simple logo without having to actually, put your face online for everyone to see.
Yeah, and I mean, there are people, and so Oliver, I'm not sure what your niche is, but that Canva would definitely be my number one recommendation for you. Not just because I'm an affiliate, but because it's really I didn't even know Canva even existed until I started following people like Sean Cannell and Think Media, and they were talking about, Canva, and I went on there, I'm like, okay, what's this Canva? And I went on there, I was like, oh my goodness, like this is amazing. Like my eyes were just like open. I was like, because I was using Photoshop for my thumbnails before, and I didn't know the first thing about doing thumbnails on Photoshop, and my thumbnails sucked on Photoshop. This is coming from someone who's a photographer, and my thumbnails on Photoshop absolutely sucked. So he also goes on, he's like, nice, I've seen people with the gray without any videos, something that there was a glitch back then. Yeah, it probably was. There was probably some kind of YouTube Oliver, YouTube is actually there. I don't want to say they've become more strict, but at the same time they have. They want to make sure that their content is family friendly, and they want to make sure that everyone is safe, and they don't. And so YouTube has really kind of put a lot of precautions in place so that you don't get in trouble with them, or that if you do that, you can get it resolved, and I'm sure Colin can agree with me on that. Like, they try to make it a safe place for everybody. They don't want to put like pornographic material on there. They don't want to put anything like that on there. So, yeah, they have to be, and they have to be strict, like, especially like with the crazy things that happen nowadays, like with kids and trafficking and everything. They have to be very careful.
And I think since the adpocalypse that happened, where a lot of I remember the exact things, but I think it had a lot to do with anyone being able to comment on kids' YouTube channels, where a lot of brands just were like, we're not putting ads on your channel on YouTube anymore until you fix these policies. YouTube makes money from AdSense. So if it isn't a safe platform, then they lose their complete revenue source. So a lot of times, that being a big company as they are, they have to look out for those certain areas. That way, they stay, profitable. So, it is good that they are more strict than in some areas, but I've definitely seen it go the other way, where they're, an innocent channel gets knocked off for doing something that they had no control over or people getting in trouble because people commented on their videos, stuff that they shouldn't, and then their channel gets your video gets removed. And it's so yeah, it's a double-edged sword, but obviously it's, for good.
Yeah, no. So there's another YouTube family that I follow. I haven't watched their videos for a little while, and I feel bad about that. But they're based here in Utah, and a couple of years ago, their channel got demonetized. Like, it was still active, but it got demonetized. And so the husband and wife who run the channel, that's one of the ways they make a living. They called them, and they were just like, what's going on? They said, we just want to make sure that, we want to make sure your kids are safe. They're trying to Google is on their side, but they just wanted to make sure that they knew the clarifications. And so they did get their monetization status restored, and I was very happy for them when they got that restored. But you got to be careful when it comes to YouTube, having too many copyright strikes, having comment on having things, making sure you have your comments kind of being monitored. But actually, Tech for Your Needs, he brings up what it is. It's called the COPA, Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. Now, a lot of kids and family vloggers don't have the ability to get comments, and it's true. And so that brings up another great point, is that when we go to upload videos as content creators on YouTube, it says, is this content made for kids or is it not made for kids? And so really that's what it comes down to, is you have to say if this is more based for kids, then you probably want to say that it's based for kids, and people will not be able to comment on it. But any comments?
No, I think, yeah, that's, that's kind of the reality of what it is. And it is tough for those, because you have young kids who want to start channels and be maybe like entrepreneurial, and they don't have that ability really with like the kind of like the strict privacy laws, or, building a community kind of needs comments. So it can be difficult for them to, really grow an audience if they can't really engage with that audience in the first place.
So Lalo says Canva is dope from what I've heard. I'm going to try soon. Lalo, this is coming from a friend. Use my affiliate link. Please use my affiliate link. I can't stress that enough.
Hey, Anthony, Oliver said there's a comment like before I go, he wanted to ask you something.
Yeah. Have you seen this? This is how we bingo. I have not seen that. I'll have to check that out after the stream. I'll have to definitely check that out. I'll put that on my to-do list to check out before I go to sleep tonight. That sounds interesting. But yeah, Oliver, huh?
Daryl Eves, the OG's from Utah too.
Yeah, the guy that's in charge of Vid Summit. Yeah, he's based here in Utah, isn't he? Or is he in California now?
I think he's still in Utah.
Yeah, but going back, he's like, okay, and he's like, I now really have to go. LOL. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Oliver, for stopping by. We appreciate you. We can't wait to see you next time. But then we got Sharkfin. Sharkfin, I'm going to call you out on this right now, Sharkfin. What is something that I have been hounding you, Sharkfin, to do for the past 3 weeks? Do you know what it is, Colin?
Canva.
Having a picture on his profile.
Oh, yes. Or at least a shark fin.
Yeah,
you can design that in Canva. Click Anthony's link.
Exactly, Sharkfin. I'm waiting for you to put this avatar or whatever you want on there. Just make sure it's appropriate. But yeah, I'm going to keep hounding you about this. But see here. Yeah, everyone's saying like, hi, Shark. And he's like, hello. He's like, Lalo, Elvar, or Luis. And then, yeah, he is in Utah. And then Daryl, so Ryan says, Daryl Eves is in St. George. I've worked with him a few times on some projects. And that's where a lot of content creators actually are in Utah. There's one up here in the Davis County area with me. His name's Sean Duras. He owns Space Station Gaming. But other than that, like a lot of them are based actually down in southern Utah. And then, but yeah, and then, so Luis says, this is how we Bingham is a family vlogging channel. They are awesome. I watch them daily. That's good to know. I will definitely check them out. Colin, you're officially Anthony's brand ambassador.
I'm going to get you some affiliate links, clicks there, Anthony.
And then you're going to say, I need a commission off of that.
Right? I want a commission off of your commission. I get 5%.
But no, so Colin, let's ask you a question real quick. Yeah. Why did you get started on YouTube? Like, what was your background and your purpose for getting started on YouTube back in 2014?
So I think it probably goes back further than that. Back in my day, as Roberto Blake would say, probably like 2010, when like YouTube was kind of still in its infant stages. No one like being a full-time creator on YouTube wasn't even a thing. I remember watching Ray William Johnson and Smosh and laughing my butt off because they were hilarious. And like Smosh would do skits and stuff. Ray William Johnson was just kind of reacting to funny videos online. But, even at that point, I was probably like, I want to say 15-ish, give or take. It was like, I already had a love for cameras, but I thought, man, it'd be so cool to make fun videos, post them online, and people get to see them. 2014, with the start of my YouTube channel, I turned 18. It was allowed access to the internet. I was homeschooled from a religious background. So once you hit 18, you get like full access to internet. So like the first thing I did was I got a YouTube name and I was like, I want to post YouTube videos. This is my chance. So what I ended up doing was I posted religious content for a few years. Never really took off too much until like a few videos ended up going after a few years. I think I only had like under 1,000 for a good like 3 or 4 years. And then some videos finally ranked and started to grow my channel. But later on, it was kind of like, I don't want to ask money from people if I'm doing a religious channel. That just gets things kind of iffy. So I was like, I need a different niche to go into. So with my love for like cameras and editing and stuff, then I started is when I started this channel, which is all about, creating, content on your phone is where it originally began. And then, I was on and off there. So there was a lot of different motivations, but once I kind of got into it, it was just like, I enjoy filming and editing and uploading content, getting like comments from people online. And yeah, it probably just that love for cameras ever since I was a kid. I don't know if you have anything similar, Anthony, where you were just given a camera younger and you just had a blast.
So yeah, when I was 14, every year on your birthday, when you're growing up, your parents are like, "Oh, what do you want for your birthday?" And when you're 14, you're like, "I don't know, like video games." Like you're just trying to figure out like what you want. And then, but that year, I decided I'm like, I want a camera. Like I want a camera. So like I was talking with my oldest brother / mentor, George, about it, and he's like, "Tell mom to get you a digital camera." And so I was like, "Okay." And so I told her, like, I want a digital camera. So she got me a digital camera, and I've ever since I was a kid, like I've always had a fascination with like electronics, like whether it be TVs, game systems, whatever it may be. Like when we go to Walmart or Target, I'd always tell my mom, like, where I'm going to be. I'm going to be over in electronics. And she's like, "Yep, I know exactly where you're going to be." So really, like photography has always been there for me, even when I didn't have necessarily an interest in doing like professionally. Like I, kind of like Colin, I was obviously a little bit more careful I had to be careful with what kind of content or whatever I post online because, being a teenager, you have to be careful. And, I come from a single parent family, but my mom was still protective. She wanted to make sure that we weren't going on any bad sites or anything. And so, yeah, but so going back to the chat real quickly, and that's like, he was just asking on Twitter, what phrases do we know him for? And that was one of them that he's like, back in my day.
I told him, I added him on Twitter and it was like, at Roberto Blake, when are you making the back in my day merch? Like, so we could all wear it. Like, that'd be great.
I would buy it in a heartbeat. And then, so Lalo says, I have a question for Colin.
But he didn't give the question. We're left in suspense.
He didn't. So Lalo, when you have a second, give the question. But yeah. So then Sharkfin is like, logo and banner will be loaded this week. I'm at my friend's place in Pennsylvania. We've been filming all day, including hopefully my channel introductory video. Good. I'm expecting it, man. I'm expecting it. I'm going to put you on a time limit. Like I put Ryan earlier, you have 2 weeks and I'm going to be grilling you like a drill sergeant. I'm just joking, but at the same time, I'm not joking. So Lala's like, I'm really grateful for my parents and they let me be a YouTuber when I was a kid. Likewise, I don't know what I would have done with my life. So Lala, what was your question, man? Like we're waiting for you to ask your question. Like, what the heck, man? And then Annette was just like, that's brilliant, Colin. I totally would buy it too. Like, someone needs to like we all just need to tweet Roberto Blake like
at the same time.
Like do the back in my day merch. Like he would make a killing off of that. But no, really, when it comes down to YouTube, I think people have this really high expectation. They think that they're going to be making millions like within the first 3 months, and that's not the case. Colin, you just took the jump off the ledge and decided to go full time into content creation. And I'm sure that was nerve-wracking when you decided to do that because, you went from having this guaranteed paycheck to making sure you have to work for your paycheck. Like, you still have a guaranteed paycheck, obviously, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it was scary for sure. But in my head, like too, and then as I was like going off and doing it, like I kept reading from other people, is like to stay stagnant and just be in a comfortable spot where you're not changing and you're not growing, you're not adapting, is like the worst spot. Because if you're not growing, you're, I don't know, decreasing basically. So it was difficult to make that jump, and it could all come crumbling down. But I also know that taking safe risks to a degree is worth it, because in order to gain, you're going to have to take some kind of element of risk. So for me, it was, okay, what's the worst that could possibly happen if I do this? I lose all my money, AdSense turns off, and I go, completely broke. So I was like, okay, that's a possibility. How do I deter that? And for me, it was just building up an emergency fund with like all the money I make on YouTube, an emergency fund, so I can do this. And if I do end up losing my money, I've got a cushion. And then once it gets down low enough to a certain point, I can be like, okay, I have to go back to working a regular job, which I was working entry level. I was a sales rep at AT&T. I could get back into that job pretty easily. I have a year of experience. I left the company in the number one spot in the store. So I'm easily rehirable. So, okay, that takes out that possibility. And so I just went through all my risks of what could possibly happen, wrote it all down, figured out deterrents for those. And I was like, you know what? There's nothing holding me back anymore. I'll be totally fine if all horrible things break out. And so it was like, I'm going to bet on me, and I'm going to bet on, I think I'll work my butt off to never go back to a regular job and to have freedom. And so, that's where I'm at. I'm in my first week still, so it's a lot of adjusting and everything. Yeah. But I think it's just worst comes to worst, it's a bit of college, and I'm just taking a break from working a job just to learn the craft of YouTube and social media and actually building a business, around something you care about. So,
well, and I think that, that reminds me of Sean Cannell's story. Like, he was building Think Media during the time that, like, during one of the worst times of his life. He, his wife was on the verge of like basically dying in the hospital, and he just didn't know if she was going to survive. And he was also, I think, being a waiter at like an Applebee's or something. But I think you have to, when it comes down to like, you have, I'm sure you probably talked about this with your wife, and you say like, I feel like this is the path we need to go. And you have to kind of take that risk. There's a quote that I've heard on Instagram several times. Like, you just hear this girl's voice. She's like, I have a question for you. Like, what if it all works out better than you anticipated? Like, what if everything you're worrying about, like, basically just pans out more than you ever even dreamed of? And I think that with regards to going full all in on YouTube, like, you have to have this mindset that, like, okay, just because you're an entrepreneur doesn't mean you have more time. You have less time now as an entrepreneur, and you have to be more focused and really being pursuing what you want to accomplish. Because, like, people like Sean Cannell, Mr. Beast, Roberto Blake, all these people, like, they didn't just quit their job and just kind of sit around. It's like, all right, I'm going to wait for these sponsors to come in. Like, no, they were active. Like, they sought after it. And I'm not saying that's you at all, Colin. I'm just saying, like, all these people that they think, well, yeah, I want to go full time on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube. They don't really do all the research, in my opinion, and put all the necessary tools forth that they need to in order to make a success. But going back to the chat, here is his question. He says, who is your biggest inspiration?
Oof. That's tough. Dane. I don't know. I can't think of like someone super specific in these times that I like really, really look up to. That I just have off the top of my head. Motivation wise, I really look at Thomas Edison quite a bit. Because that dude was like a hustler. Like, he just put perseverance in, and like his one of my favorite quotes from him. And I'm actually in the process of trying to get you can reorder YouTube plaques, like you can get multiples. I'm trying to get one that has 99% perspiration on it, because the Thomas Edison quote is genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration, which is sweat. So you can have a great idea for a YouTube channel. You can have a great idea for a business. That's cool. That's fine. That's an idea. And if you ask anyone who's like grown a successful business, it's, can you execute on that idea? You'll hear it all the time at Shark Tank. Oh, every idea has been like put out there. People have tried every single niche, every single thing, but certain people executed really, really well in those niches and took off. So it's all about the execution. If you can put in the actual work to make it a reality. And I think, that was the difference between past failures of mine on YouTube and, winning this time around, because I gave up on YouTube multiple times. And the difference is like, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to at least make an extra $500 on YouTube. And I committed to that. And I spent all my time trying to learn the algorithm. And when I finally was monetized, I took that money and I reinvested it into coaching. So that way I could learn from someone who's already had experience in a place that I want to be. And was like, mentor me, show me where I need to go. And they told me things about learning who my audience is. And then I'd also listen to these successful people and listen to what they say to motivate me. And, to end a rant that I'm going on here is, you got to put in the work. So inspirational me, I think it's probably, Thomas Edison, just because dude did so many things. And he truly put in the work and the world's changed because of it. So
apparently Oliver can't stay away. He's like lurking mode. We're glad to have you here still, Oliver. But then Ryan, he said, I make $50 to $100 a month passive income from YouTube. Can't live off that much, but it's better than zero. And that's true. Like a lot of content creators, like they don't do this for their main career. Like they have other jobs they do, but at the same time, like if you were able to, like Colin or like Roberto, like so many others, go in this full time, do it. Like why not? Like why not have the freedom to be able to travel, to be able to work from home or work from like a coffee shop or something. But
I think probably the big thing too, when you're making that $50, $100 a month, probably the greatest investment you can do is take that money and reinvest it into yourself, into education. Whether that's getting like YouTube books, like Daryl Eves has YouTube, the YouTube formula, or Sean Cannell and Benji Travis have YouTube secrets.
They just came out with an updated version of YouTube secrets.
Yeah. I thankfully got the Audible version, so I get the free update. Which is nice. But it's like, if you can take that money, or there's YouTube coaches that you can invest in that for like $200, $300, you'll get an hour session. They'll look at your channel. They'll tell you, this is what you need to do. That'll exponentially grow your channel. I'm not just saying that because I have a course coming out in a few weeks. Whether you do it with me or anyone else, or Sean or Roberto Blake, because he has coaching and courses too, or learning sponsorships with Creator Wizard like Justin Moore. I went and took his course. Like, sure, I took a lot of money. Like, Creator Wizard's course is $1,000. His brand deal course, it's $1,000. But in my head, I think if I learn what this guy learned, who's made $3 million in brand deals, and I just apply a little bit of that, it's going to be, I'll make that money back easily. I'll 10x, 100x that investment of knowledge, because I'm learning from someone who's already gone through all the work of screwing up with brands, of how to negotiate, how to actually pitch deals. And it's like, I get it all inside of me, and now I'm a powerhouse. Not saying I'm an expert at brand deals, but it's like, man, now I have an actual strategic plan of where to go to increase my income. So reinvestment in yourself.
I think that's so important. Like, Professor Nez, a mutual friend that we both have, and of those in the chat, he's said countless times, like, if you get brand deals, don't just take the money and run. Like, do what you agreed upon, but reinvest that money into something to help grow your business. And so, like, for Oliver, since Oliver, you're listening, go check out Professor Nez on YouTube. Like, this guy, like, he's he is the ambassador to the creator economy. You know, like Colin and I, we can give all of our, you know, advice all the day long, but Nez has been around for so long on the platform that he knows like what works, what doesn't work. He does weekly live streams, but I mean, when it comes down to it, like you put in what you get out of it. Excuse me, you get out of it what you put in. That's what I meant to say. And there's a quote that I always refer back to. It's by someone named Gordon B. Hinckley. He says, "Without hard work, nothing grows but weeds." And so, and there's a lot of truth in that. You know, you have to put in the hard work instead of going out. You know, I've missed times when I've hung out with friends. A great example is last summer. So here in Utah, we celebrate the July 24th Pioneer Day. And I was invited by some good close friends to go up to a rodeo. And as tempted as I was, I passed because I wanted to work on my business. And all these big time content creators and other, big time, business owners like Jeff Bezos and all these people, like, instead of going out and partying all the time, like, they stayed home, they researched, they put forth a whole lot of blood, sweat, and tears into their business, and look where they are at now. Like, I mean, Mr. Beast is a great example. His channel didn't even take off for like 7 years. So, but then going back, Oliver's like, looks like I finished my task quicker. How should I start my logo? What topic should I pick to start off the logo? Oliver, when it comes down to it, like, what you have to ask yourself, what is it you're trying to accomplish? Like, what's your niche? Like, what is it, this kind of stuff you're going to promote? Like, what do you feel like you are passionate about? Like, I'm sure Colin could give some feedback on this as well. But really, you have to kind of, so like Colin, for example, mine is all about photography, videography, tech, and helping other creators. So I'm pretty niched down. So Colin, what's your take on that?
No, I think I'd agree with you. Probably look at whatever, if you haven't put content out on YouTube yet, maybe just make your, or you don't plan to in the near future, you're still trying to figure that out. Maybe just make your logo about, something you're interested in. But if your channel has a very specific niche, making your logo related to that, people will be able to tell that, oh, this channel is all about this niche topic. And potentially will subscribe as a result of it, versus just seeing, the letter O or seeing one of your passions or something like that. So if you're just doing it for the sake of the comments, you can probably make it whatever, just something that looks cool to you, or around one of your interests. But if you do post videos, you definitely want to try and keep it niche centered. So, yeah,
don't just throw a whole lot of stuff at the wall and see whatever sticks. That's a major error that a lot of new creators try to make, where they just throw whatever they can at the wall and see whatever sticks. But I would not recommend doing that at all. But Luis, he kind of goes on, he says, word to describe your YouTube journey. My word is perseverance. Panel and chatters, please answer the question. And so I think when it comes to my YouTube journey, is I'm all about bringing some light to the internet. There's a lot of dark parts of the internet. Like, I want to bring some light and humanity to the internet, and bring some entertainment at the same time. So what about you, Colin?
Execution. Chop. I'm kidding. Like, doing the work is probably the biggest thing. Like, I think a lot of it, we read stuff or we watch YouTube content and educational content. We're like, wow, that was really helpful. And then we don't execute on it, and we don't take action on all the things we've learned. I think that's probably the hardest thing. I've definitely myself fallen into the rut of watching educational content, edutainment, basically, where I'm just watching educational content because, oh, wow, I'm being productive, but I'm not really being productive. I'm just sitting watching educational content and not taking action on it. Gary Vaynerchuk, he's very like motivational speaker and like the entrepreneurial. He says, don't watch my content. Just take what I've told you and stop watching my videos and execute on it. That's okay. I'm fine with you not being a subscriber and you're not watching my videos if you're going out and taking action. So I think doing that work is the most important thing. So
Yeah.
execution would be.
Yeah, execution. That's important. And Gary Vee is a great role model. And so Lalo says, if Colin can do it, I can do it. Thanks for being an inspiration to me and Minnie, bro.
And with that too, like literally April of 2020, that was how many? That was like 2 years and 2 months ago. I had 2,000 subscribers. I was making zero in AdSense. I was pushing carts at a hardware store and just thinking in my head about, man, I do not want to do this the rest of my life. I don't want to go up in management, work 60, 70 hours. I want to be done with this. And so in my head, I'm just thinking of, what can I do? I need a side hustle. I need something to do. And in 2 years, I was able to, get to a spot where I can go full time or just have a really darn good side hustle income. So, truly, if someone as stupid as me can go through the work and get it done, I believe in everyone's ability to do it. Because I had no skills. I didn't go to college. I was pushing carts. I wasn't a skilled laborer who had a good job, and I was like, man, I'm gonna make this work, and that got me here. So
exactly. So Annette says, wow, that's amazing, Colin. You're an inspiration to me and many others. I know that the course is going to be a top seller. Best of luck, my friend. And we all know that you're an inspiration, Colin. But then Oliver says, just going to basically put my name in a nice way, either letter or I'm also in aviation. So yeah, Oliver, just keep experimenting, man. Like, that's what this is all about, experimenting, especially since you're just getting started. But
just do like initials, do it in a cool design.
And then Annette says, that's great advice, Colin, and so true. But really, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, and I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm going to be in here in the next little bit. But Colin, if you were to say to someone starting out, or to yourself, matter of fact, starting out on YouTube, what would be your biggest piece of advice that you would give anyone on the platform, and especially like with the way the creator economy is starting up now?
I think the most important thing is knowing your audience and knowing who you're making content for. If that is the golden ticket to literally everything, it's the golden ticket to what topics to choose, how you design your thumbnails, how you edit those videos, what brands you work with, how you monetize that audience. Because if you know them, you know their problems that they're facing and what they're trying to solve, and you can create solutions to those problems, whether it's through videos or whether it's through digital products. You're solving people's problems. So I think the most important thing is learning more about your audience, why they're on YouTube, what people they're watching, why are they watching them, what their end goals are, and really develop and understand that and write it down so you can reference it and use that as like a guide to, okay, I know my audience is interested. Now, I don't know, I'm using you, Anthony, but I know my audience is interested in photography. Okay, if I was brand new to photography and I'm trying to figure this out, what might I search? Okay, I might search best lenses for new photographers, or I might search ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. What do these mean? And I might, and I can strategically think, okay, this is what my audience is, probably looking for on YouTube. I can do research and see if those videos are getting a lot of views, if it's been recent that they've been getting views. And then I can, go through all that and, maybe I make a guide and I'm like, all right, for $20, you'll get this whole guide to teach you all the basics of photography. The link's in my description, and go buy it. And then you can start getting traffic to making an income that way. And that all comes from just knowing who you're making videos for. So
yeah. And my advice to anyone starting out, especially like to Oliver and others who may be watching on the replay, it would be, don't focus on the money aspect of YouTube. Focus on creating great content. Sean Cannell has this phrase, 1% better with every video. Use that as your mantra, your go-to thing that you want to make sure that you're, just upping your game every video, every live stream. And really just enjoy the journey. One more piece of advice, actually. You will have people that will contact you via Instagram, LinkedIn, other places. They'll say, like, I can guarantee you I can get your SEO up and everything. Do not do any business with these kind of people, because they will, in the end, screw you over. They will take like at least 50, maybe even more percentage of your revenue. And so you want to, and really, YouTube is all about the journey. Colin is a great example of this. This guy right here, he's a great example of someone who has been all about the journey. I am still on the journey. I'm loving it every second. And really, what a great time to be a content creator. But just wanted to bring up a few last comments, and then I'm going to end. And so Luis says, bring value to your audience. That is my advice for a beginner. Once they figure out what they want on the platform. And then Annette's just saying, great conversation. It's late for me. So Annette, sounds like you need to go to bed. And then she's like, hey, Colin, you ever get the cage for your ZV-1?
I did not yet. I've been buying way too much other stuff, and I don't want to get in trouble with my wife. So, you're our sole income provider now. Now you're buying more stuff for your business. So I gotta in the future, maybe, hopefully.
And then also, many people say it's about your name or logo. It's not about your name or logo. It's all about your content. There's a lot of truth in that, but you got to make sure your brand, your name is out there. People go like, oh well, if you want to learn how to edit things on a mobile device, well, go check out Colin's content, because he teaches you a step-by-step guide, and he also has a course. But yeah, it's all about the course. And then Shark Fin was saying, like, great stream, guys. And then I was like, agreed, great stream. Lalo, it is actually coming out this week. It is coming out this week. I'm going to be actually recording it tonight. It's going to be reacting to photography fails. It's going to be quite entertaining. I did one over a year ago, and this one, I actually had a good buddy of mine send me all like 5 or 6 TikTok photography fails, and so I'm going to be reacting to those. So watch for it this week. I'm going to be back recording a lot and really just getting my name more out there. Like, I decided to be more active on YouTube this year. Like, I made that a goal of mine, but yeah.
You better all hit that bell for notifications for when it drops.
It's going to be
good. You might miss it.
It's going to be fun. And then thanks for sending me to bed. You're welcome in that. Yeah, and then Ryan shared your channel, and then they're all saying great stream, guys. All right, so on behalf of everyone in the stream, I want to leave you with this. I always leave with this. This is my favorite thing to leave with. And it is my motto and slogan. And it is, do not live in the past, but instead live for the present and the future. And with that, Colin, what last minute thing would you like to say to people?
Smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm.
Make sure you guys go check out Colin's content. This guy is a genius when it comes to content on YouTube, especially when it comes to mobile editing. And with that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week. We do this every week at 5:15 Mountain Standard Time. And have a great night. I'm going to go eat some food.
Me too.
Peace out.